Hi kids, we are going to look at Unit 2, Lesson 6. It says it's called Composition of Linear Functions. And linear means, of course, a line, and usually 1 degree of x, so x to the power of 1. But what I'm basically going to talk to you about is f of g of x, or g of f of x, and it can also look like g of f or f of g. Now these are ways that you're going to see it like on the ACT, SAT. You'll also see it this way sometimes, so you really just need to be fluid in understanding how to do it. So they're calling this composition of linear functions in BUZZ, but I just wanted to say this is actually what we're doing. Now, it's very important that I explain to you what this means. So I'm going to start with something like, I don't know, 5y equals 5x squared plus 9, okay? And instead of y, I'll say g of x. Now, I just want you to realize that g of x is just the name of a function. It just takes the place of y, okay? It means the function or x, or what happens on the graph when you graph this equation. So if I put something like g of 2, what that means is, look, where is the 2? It is in the same position as the x, right? So when I say g of 2, it really means that these are the same. 2 is x, or x equals 2. So when you see something that says g of 2, that means we're going to rewrite this, and we're going to say, instead of x, I'm going to put a 2. And whatever's happening to that x, it'll happen to the 2. So for instance, I'm going to plug this in and see what value I get. 2 times 2 is 4, because I'm going to do this first. You can just put this in your calculator, but that's 4. 2 times 2 is 4, times 5 is 20, plus 9 is 29. So what that tells me is, in this function, listen carefully, in this function of g of x equals this, when I look on the graph and I go to where the x-axis is at 2, though g of x, or the y part of that, is going to be at 29. It's going to be way up high. So it means that I just plugged in a point for x, and I know that on that function, it's going to be some sort of parabola. It's going to be like this, right? And it's going to, because it's an x squared, and it's going to be lifted up 9. This right here, the minimum is 9. Y equals 9. And then it's just going to go up, and at 2, it's going to be at 29. And I know that that means it's going to be skinny, because this right here tells me, is it a vertical stretch or is it a vertical compression? And it's a stretch because it's greater than 1. If it was a fraction, it would be fat and flatter towards the ground. So that is what you do. So if I have a function, let's do another one. F of x equals 2x plus 5. Okay, and I say f of negative 1. All this is telling me is, when x is negative 1, I'm going to plug it in and see what my y would be, so I could plot that point. This would be negative 2 plus 5, which equals 3. So I know that the function, or this line that's on the graph, at negative 1 has a y value of 3. So when I look at that point on my graph of 2x plus 5 up 2 over 1 up 2 over 1, when I go to 1, negative 1 here, this point is going to be, whoops, I can't get this with this dumb cursor pencil thing I'm trying to use. Anyway, at negative 1, it's going to be 3. So it's pretty important that you understand that, okay? Now, I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to talk to you about actual problems on your assignment. Okay, so I'm going to do one similar to number 1. So it's asking you a two-part question, f of g of x, and then it's saying g of f of x. So the way I like to tell kids to kind of remember where to start, and let's do one. I'm going to make one that's not the same but similar. I'm going to say 6x plus 3, and then my g of x is going to be x minus 8. Okay, so that's what that's going to be. Now, that tells me that my g of x is this, and my f of x is this. Okay, so I like to do it where I start kind of like it's a cinnamon roll. That's what I tell kids. Think about a cinnamon roll. Where do you want to eat? You want to eat the middle, the ooey gooey yummy part, right? So we're always going to start in the middle. So we're going to, and g of x is in the middle here. So I'm going to take my g of x because g of x is x minus 8. And I'm going to put this as my x in here. Because this is just like me saying f of 2. I plug 2 in for x. Well, no, in this situation, I'm plugging in this whole thing, g of x. Instead of putting a 2 where the x is, I put x minus 8. So I'm going to say 6, and instead of putting a 2, I'll say x minus 8, because this is my g of x, right? That's what's in the middle. That's what I'm putting inside, plus 3. So now let's see what that is. I have to distribute this, right? I'm going to do it in green. Distribute. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 8 is negative 48 plus 3. That's, combine these in my calculator, it's going to be negative 45. 6x minus 45, and boom, that's my answer. F of g of x is 6x minus 45. Because all I had to do was plug in whatever's in the middle into the other equation. So here, let's try this one. I'll do it in orange. This f of x is in the middle. It's the middle of the ooey gooey cinnamon roll. So I'm going to use that one to go in here as the x. So I'm putting my g of x, which is the outside letter, I'm putting that first. I'm saying x minus 8. Well, since f of x is in the middle of my cinnamon roll, I'm going to put whatever f of x is, which is 6x plus 3. So instead of x, I'm going to say 6x plus 3. That's my x, because it's in the middle, it's in here, minus 8, which is in the whole g of x function, right? So now, 6x plus 3 minus 8, well, I can combine those in my calculator. 3 minus 8 is negative 5. So my answer is 6x minus 5. That's my g of f of x answer. That's my part 2 answer right here. So that's what you're doing. So that's all you're doing. So you might want to rewind this and watch those two again, because it's not easy to get that in your head the first time that you hear it. It takes a little bit of just kind of getting used to. I'm going to do one more example. Let's see, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. They're all the same thing. I'll do a weird one for this next one that'll kind of combine some elements of number 4 and number 3 together. So here, let's go. We'll say g of x is, let's just say 2x squared plus, 4. I don't know. And my f of x, let's just say that that is x over 5 plus, I'll say x squared over 5 plus 8. Okay? So, in order to do these, the first one I'm going to do, I'm going to color code them. I'll say g of f of x, right? So what do we want to do first? We always want to do the middle of the cinnamon roll. So we're going to plug whatever f of x is in as the x, right? So let's do that. I'll do it in blue. So I'm going to say 2, but instead of x, I'm going to put all of this. X squared minus 5 plus 8. Over 5 plus 8. That's my x. And I'm going to square that. And now I'm going to say plus 4. Okay. Well, the first thing that I'm going to do to all of this is when I have a number on the bottom, like a denominator, and it whacks some kids out. Some kids don't mind it. They can just put 1/5 in the calculator and they're like, no problem. Some kids are like, oh, I can't even do this. It has a 5 on the bottom. So if you feel that way, just multiply every single part of this by 5.